Hi, my name is Trishan Mesba, and this is a midterm project for CIS 3367 and by Professor Wheeler's class. And I wanted to focus my project on something that was really interesting to me and something that I could learn about. So I decided to do on people who died by use of accidental overuse of drugs and how which race dies more than others or if it's an equal amount. So for example, um, I want to see the data for say about let's say if it's more females than males that use drug overuse, or is it or what type of age range that people tend to use drug overuse. Also, where they died can sometimes also cause an effect. So what I did was I got all this information from data.gov, which will be provided in the link in the description. I chose I chose this. I chose this information. I chose this topic because I saw on the news how most people will say young minorities that would die of overuse of drugs. So I decided to look up the facts and see if this was all true, and the data will quite be surprising to you. This data right here that shows is from 2012 to 2017. So this is as recent as it gets to show. So there's no like 15 years ago or anything like that. Nope, this is as recent as get. 2017 was literally just last year. So what I will show is I would like to show that I use pivot tables, and pivot charts to easily represent the large amount of data I had. I created two different pivot charts. I'm sorry, excuse me. I created one, two, three, four, five different pivot charts of people dying for, like, for example, race, the type of race that most people died from, the drugs that people died, which gender died more from, the age range that people died from more, where they died, drugs that everyone used mostly on. also, I also added some slicers to create that was created in my dashboard. So if you see my dashboard, there are two slicers here. And also, I thought it would make it easier to see the individuals that I put in the data to see which group tend to use this type of drug more or who uses the drug least amount. These slices help me select whichever age, range, location group I would like to look up and narrow my data. So let's say you want to learn how to do any of this, right? So first things first, you want to do is you want to go to the to the data, and I wanted to make this easy as you can see. So you see the case numbers that they died from, the date, the sex, the race, the age. Also, had to make a new file. I had to make a new file for. I made an if statement for my own row for age group, so that I can make my own column for my own chart for age group. I made an if statement so that you can see. So I can make it easier to put pivot table in a pivot chart for it. It's the residencies that they died from. So city, state, and county. This is the same thing, but in deaths where they died. This is the location exactly where they died in. And I highlighted 4 drugs that I thought was very important to let people know. Heroin, cocaine, and phenylene and benzo were the ones that they died mostly in. So it was important to highlight this, so that I made sure I specifically made a chart for them. And if you look at my pivot table, you'll see right here, heroin was in most, cocaine was second, phenylene was third, benzo was only the last one because all the other drugs combined together was more than benzo. When in reality, if they were separated, it would be benzo, then everything else. So first, let's make a pivot chart. Let's do a pivot chart. Let's do a pivot table. So to do a pivot table, you just go to Insert, click Pivot Table. You want to make sure that the whole table is selected. Make sure that it's a new worksheet, and then you just click OK. And then boom, another worksheet has arrived. So then what you're going to do is pick one. So we're going to do the one with race first. So what you can do is click case number. Once you make sure case number is in value, and click race. Once race is there, you want to move race to rows. Once you move race to rows, then you can see, it makes it a lot easier to see, okay, these are the race that died, these are the race that were in the hospital that overused drugs and that died. You'll notice that the most is white people, the second most is Hispanic white, and the third most is blacks. And then if you notice, the least amount was Hawaiian, Native American / other. Excuse me, sorry. Now you're asking, Trishan, I want to make a splicer so that I can individualize how you did it in your dashboard. Well, sure. It's quite simple. You in the pivot table analyze, you just click insert splicer and you choose what you want to make it about. So we're going to click race and click OK. You can bring the race right here, and now we have all the race. We have all the races that was in the chart. So if I just click on just black, you'll get just black. So now if I click Chinese, you'll also get black and Chinese. Now if I click Hispanic and black, you'll get that too. So it makes it easier to individualize which one you want to see specifically, or which one's more. Excuse me. Excuse me, sorry. So now I want to show you, now if I click insert, if let's say you want a pivot chart, so I just go here, click pivot chart, and boom, it shows right here. Now it makes it easier to see bar, and make it individual. So if I click just white, now you only see white. And now if I click white and holding down the command shift, using a Mac by the way, command shift, you get Native Americans in that. You can see a huge big difference. Let's do Hispanic black, and you still see big difference. Now you say to me, Trishan, I want to see it in a pie chart, just like how you did it. Well, it's kind of simple. So all you gotta do is make sure that the whole data is clicked on, and you just go in, put in 2D pie, and there you go. And now you can see the pie chart in a graph form if it's easier for you. And you just add data labels so that you can read the numbers. And now you can see it's supposed to be, it makes it a lot easier. Looking at it visually than looking at it number wise makes it a lot easier. So I hope this was easy and able to understand. And if you do the same thing, you'll be able to do it for each one. For age group, the people that the gender that died more, the race that died the most, place that people died most, it's all the same. You're basically repeating the same process over and over, and it's literally just changing where you put the rows and where you put the values in. What I want to say was, overall, I believe I had a better understanding of accidental death rates from drug overdose, and among these different categories. From the results of the data, I can factually say that the white race, has the highest death rate from the accidental overuse of drugs. And I'm glad I did this project because it taught me ways on really narrowing down data I want to focus on. For example, I was able to use Splicer to look at different age group. Also, if anyone ever tells me about drug overuse, I can finally just show them this data and show the evidence that I have for it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye bye.